Welcome to Atlanta, and what a weekend we've got lined up for you. What a matchup this is. 2021 champions, 2020 champions. It's the Braves and the Dodgers from Truist Park. Welcome inside. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Joe Davis with the Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Ken Rosenthal joins us in a moment. So the Braves win the World Championship last season. They get out of the gates really slowly this year, and it's like, man, are the Braves going to get things going? And boy, have they ever.
They have. Look, baseball's shown it's hard to repeat, right? And last year was improbable, and it was a championship for the Braves. They started off slow like you meant, but June a perfect timing for the Atlanta Braves to get back in the race. The Mets were running away with it. How did they do it? They did it with offense. Their offense has been clicking. Of course, last year they didn't have Acuna. They now do, and the timely pitching has vaulted the Braves back into a position to where everyone thought they might be at the end of this year.
Another guy they had last season is now on the other side. Freddie Freeman makes his return to Atlanta here this weekend. A very emotional weekend for him. So far for the Dodgers, he's been everything they had hoped when they signed him to the 6-year deal.
Well, you knew it was going to be a hard time for Freddie Freeman when he came back here with the emotions, as you talked about, winning a championship, getting the rings, but he's done everything. And he is that prototypical hitter that is in the middle of the lineup, and this is what he did for the Braves, and he's going to do that for the Dodgers. Once he leaves here, it'll be all Dodger blue, and it'll be the past of the Atlanta Braves. The emotions, tough to deal with. He had a tough time last night, but he's not had a tough time in his last 13 games. He has been on fire.
Hitting .392 over the 13-game on-base streak, helping lead the Dodgers to a 4-game winning streak. Couple of the hottest teams in the National League. Dodgers winning 4 straight, the Braves winning 14 of their 18 this month. It's the Dodgers and the Braves. Perfect night for baseball on Baseball Night in America, next on Fox. Two National League Championship Series. Last year, the Braves won it in 6. They won games 1 and 2 in walk-off fashion. Rosario winning the second game 5-4 after it was Riley in game 1. In game 4, a bunch of home runs. Rosario again in the middle of it. In game 6, the same as he went on to the MVP performance, and the Braves clinched the National League pennant for the first time since 1999, their first World Championship since '95. Of course, a key piece of that team was Freddie Freeman, who now calls Los Angeles home, and a guy that was the veteran player when he arrived here, Chipper Jones, in the house tonight to reunite with Freddie. And this emotional weekend continues for number 5. It's been a very hot summer per usual in Atlanta, and by those standards, it's kind of comfy tonight.
It's absolutely a break in the weather. It has been smoking hot here. Perfect night to pitch, probably a good night to hit, except the Dodgers are going against a hot pitcher in Max Fried.
Yeah, Fried lost his first 2 starts this year, John, but he's gotten past that. You put it all together. This, at this point, unquestioned ace of this Braves
staff.
Yeah,
his fastball combination with he spreads it out, right? He throws his breaking balls an even amount of percentage along with the changeup. But look for some strength on strength against some hitters tonight. He has a glove side command, meaning inside to right-handers, away to left-handers, and there you see the breakdown. You really don't know what he's going to throw at any particular time, which is a great mix. But the leadoff hitter is so good at inside fastballs. We'll see who wins that battle between Fried and Turner tonight.
Yeah, there is that leadoff hitter right there. Here's the rest of the lineup. Mookie Betts on the injured list, and so the move there was Trey Turner going 3rd to 1st and Will Smith moving up to 3rd in the order. The top of the lineup's been awesome lately. Taylor, Turner, and Thompson through the heart. Hanser Alberto is back in there at second base, hitting 7th with Bellinger in center field, and Austin Barnes doing the catching out of the 9 spot.
Well, Trey Turner is an absolute electric player, and you see what he's done this year as leadoff. He's hitting .517 on fastballs inside, and that is the primary spot that Max Fried likes to throw the ball. He learned last year in the postseason to start expanding the zone on the other side. That's made him tough.
His first pitch of the night is a little bit low, and off we go with ball 1 on Turner. Dodgers 4-0 on this current road trip, and Turner sparked an offense that scored 30 runs during this 4-game winning streak. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, right away you saw Max Fried saying, okay, I'm going to take my strength against your strength. He's missed inside against Trey Turner, who will be an all-star.
On 2-0, swing and a miss, 2-1. Acquired at the deadline last year. Batting champ in the National League, split between Washington and LA last year, and he's doing it again this year. Top 5 in the league, hitting .318. On a 2-1 from Fried, he hits a ground ball left side and through. Leadoff single for Trey Turner as he continues to make his all-star case. Defense for the Braves. Well, in center field, the rookie Michael Harris has been a stabilizing force. That's allowed Duvall to move over to left field, with Harris coming up at the end of May. Acuna in right. The infield looks like this. Riley and Swanson on the left side. Arcia and Olsen on the right side. And Travis d'Arnaud does the catching. And here is Freddie Freeman.
And Freddie Freeman, he's got a bunch of leading the league's categories, especially when runners are on base. And against left-handers, he works that count. Hey! So against left-handers, he's probably going to have a higher pitch per plate appearance than he is against right-handers. But you can see when the bases are empty, okay, when they're on, it's a different hitter.
On an 0-1 from Fried, Freeman takes high, ball 1. Drafted in 2007 by the Braves. Came up in September of 2010, and for 12 years was the starting first baseman for this franchise here in Atlanta. And so understandably an emotional day yesterday for anybody, but especially a guy who is as emotionally wired as Freddie is.
Yeah, and a backstory with most of the people in the country that are not from Atlanta. I mean, he endured a ton of losing seasons here, and so when you go through that and then you get to the top of the mountain and win the World Series last year and then have kind of it all flipped and you're going out to the opposite coast, I mean, once he leaves here, he'll be completely all in Dodger blue and doing his thing. But this was definitely, last night had to happen so that he could move on and turn the page.
2020 MVP Freddie Freeman swings and misses, and the count evens at 2-2.
Yeah, this cutter really ate up Freddie. Freddie does a great job of waiting as long as he can. He has a unique style of hitting where he can get the barrel of the bat to most of the pitches with that hinged kind of choke up on the bat, control the strike zone. That's why you can't really shift Freddie Freeman.
Turner at first with a leadoff base hit. Fried to Freeman with a 2-2. We'll do it again. No, Freddie's tears started very early yesterday. He had a hard time even getting through the press conference hours before the game. Out on the field, they presented him with his World Series ring. His family's here. He's got a suite for 52 people for all 3 games this weekend. And then he addressed the crowd before the game. And then he came up to the plate for his first at-bat, and there was a 1-minute standing ovation before he stepped in and played, even though he said he couldn't even feel his legs for the first few innings. Fouls this one off. And d'Arnaud might not be able to feel his now.
And 1 minute may not sound like a lot. That's a long time. For a standing ovation, that's a long time in the space of baseball. You typically, iconic players come to cities, and cities will give them that standing ovation. They tip their hat, and it's usually 15 to 20 seconds. A minute seems like eternity, especially when you're the pitcher on the mound.
Yeah, I would imagine. Come on. I know we're letting you have your time, but. And then we saw Ian Anderson unable to lock back in right after that. And he referenced that after the game. Yeah, Freddie deserved every second of that, but probably guilty of not getting dialed back in as quickly as I should have. Freeman's fouled off a couple. So another 2-2. And he fouls it again.
The longest I've ever been part of, I was pitching for Boston, and I knew when Nomar came back to Boston, it was going to be a big deal. And so I right away stepped off the mound, and it could have been 2 minutes. Like, it was the longest, and he stepped out, and it's like this wow moment. And Freddie experienced that, I'm sure yesterday.
Eighth pitch coming. Runs the count full.
But see, this is a perfect example of why he's so special as a left-handed batter facing an elite left-handed pitcher, because he can make the count go up, and he already has, and he's seen just about everything with the exception of maybe an inside cutter that would freeze him on the inside part of the plate, but try to save that for later if you're Max Fried.
Turner and all his speed at first. Fried paying a lot of attention to him, understandably. Not going, and a swing and a miss on a fastball that he turns up to 97. And there is that inside hard stuff.
Yeah, that's the inside pitch. That's the only hole that you can get against. And now look, he was trying to go outside, and he went inside. So that mislocation actually worked out to his advantage. But that's the one pitch that will give Freddie trouble, because you see how quick he has to get the barrel of the bat in the inside of 96. That's tough to do.
Fried gets his first strikeout of the game and now faces Will Smith. Teardrop of a curveball for strike one.
Well, we showed you the breakdown, and if you're a hitter going up there, you can't eliminate anything, because he doesn't throw a dominant pitch a high percentage of time to go up there and say, I'll eliminate this. And the one thing that Will Smith has done as a hitter of late is using the middle part of the field. His power speaks for itself.
Now an 0-1 from Fried. Smith watches a change dismiss. He's got 4 multi-hit games over his last 5. And since coming up in 2019 has the #1 OPS of any catcher in baseball.
Yeah, you just can't make a mistake inner half of the plate. You see when a guy has his hands out over the plate, he wants it in. Ooh.
Got it at the knees, bounced slowly to third. Riley's only plays across the diamond, and he gets Smith with a good play. And to scoring position goes Turner. 2 out. Well, the Dodgers saw Max Fried back in April at Dodger Stadium, and he's somebody that they've hit pretty well throughout his career. In the championship series last year, they scored 5 times in Game 5 against him. But it was a different story in April. 7 shutout innings and only 2 base runners for Dave Roberts' club against Fried.
Well, Fried showed his mettle, if you will, in the postseason last year, even in the World Series against Houston. Had one of those games and came back and pitched the clinching game, made the adjustments that the hitters told him he had to adjust based on their hitters' success. And that's why everyone feels like in this organization Max Fried's going to the next level of dominance as a left-handed pitcher.
First one to Chris Taylor is inside, ball 1. Yeah, you said it. I mean, Game 2 of the World Series last year, 6 runs. Game 6, 6 shutout innings, and the winning pitcher in the clinching game.
Yeah, and look, he's dominant. Of course, I said his glove side, being a left-hander into a righty, that's his lane. But he's shown enough ability to throw the ball on the other side of the plate to make him doubly tough to hit. And I've always said in this game of information and analytics, it's great, right? But it can be a little overkill. You could end up pitching to a hitter's weakness and away from your strength. He's going to pitch off his strength and let the hitter adjust. He'll adjust to the hitter if he takes away his strength. That's why that first at bat with Trey Turner, he said, I'm going in, even though I know you love the ball in, and we'll see what happens.
Turner started the game with a base hit. He's at second with 2 gone. 1 ball, 1 strike on Chris Taylor, who has homered against Fried. That was part of the 3 home run game that Taylor had in Game 5 of the championship series last year. Followed that by signing a 4-year extension to remain a Dodger. Who would have thought when the Dodgers acquired him in June of 2016 that he'd turn into this?
Yeah, it's amazing. He's done a nice job not expanding the zone against left-handers. He's an aggressive hitter. I mean, he's up there for the downs most of the time, but he doesn't expand it as much against the opposite arm as a left-hander.
Tries to lay off. He went around, and it's 2-2.
Wow, as a pitcher, I always think they went, but I don't know if they thought he went live there. We'll get it.
I think Dave Roberts thought so either. Something Max Fried gets a lot of. Chases out of the strike zone. Top 5 in the majors at doing that. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Taylor. Trey Turner at second. Here comes Fried. Taylor swings and misses. Looked unsure on that fastball. Fried pitches around the leadoff single. Ronald Acuna and the Braves coming up when you come back. 6 runs per game for this group this month. Acuna, Swanson, and Olsen at the top. Austin Riley had his breakout season last year. He's the cleanup hitter. Darno catches. Ozuna DHs. Arcia, the starting second baseman with Albies on the injured list, and then Duvall and the rookie Michael Harris at the bottom of the order. Mitch White comes back up for his 10th game in the majors this season with Andrew Heaney placed on the injured list. Last time that he pitched for the Dodgers, 5 shutout innings against the White Sox, and somebody that's been so valuable for them the last few years doing whatever they ask.
Yeah, he's a pitcher that knows how to pitch, right? Fastball, curveball, slider for the most part. He'll mix in a 2-seam fastball, filling in for a couple dinged up starters that the Dodgers have had to deal with of late, and White's going to get his opportunities, it seems like, in the next couple starts.
Went down to AAA, 2 scoreless outings, including taking a no-hitter into the 6th inning in one of those games. First one to Acuna misses, 1 ball, no strikes. Ronald Acuna was having his best year last year, which is saying something, because this guy's already had some huge years before that torn ACL on July 10th. Recovered from that, came back at the end of April, and just as electric as ever.
He really is. He offers obviously a dynamic that the Braves missed, but not missed enough to win a World Series last year. And he worked hard to get back into the position he's in now. Really kind of a fast recovery and lightning quick inner half for power. You know, the ideal situation is when you know a guy's lightning quick in, you got to pitch in. That's why he gets hit a lot, because you got to get him off that pitch to get him out away. And if you just stay away or stay in one spot, he's still good enough to go the other way. In this ballpark, the ball will jump.
2-1. Buckled his knees with a breaking ball, and that has been the best thing that Mitch White features. The league hitting just 170 against his 2 breaking pitches. Ronald Acuna leading off for Atlanta. And lifting one to right center field. Thompson caught off by Bellinger, 1 away. But worth taking a look at the umpiring crew. John, you want to go take second?
In between innings, I might have to run out there and fill in until they get the 4th one here.
Yeah, so a late change. Corey Blazer not part of the crew tonight. He has been, well, he was last night for the first game of this series. Alex McKay is going to be a call-up umpire, but he got the call so late that he's still in transit to the stadium. How's Atlanta traffic on Saturday nights? You gonna be okay?
Depending where you're coming from, it can be a little bit of a tough go.
You can ask Dansby Swanson that question. He's an expert all things Atlanta. The local guy who came over to the Braves many years ago, former #1 pick from Arizona. And there were times partway through his career where folks kind of labeled him as a bust, but he has put it all together here in his walk year.
Yeah, it's an unfair criticism. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics to going into #1 pick, and certainly he didn't get a chance to do that for the club that picked him #1. So that's a chip on your shoulder. And then you get over to your home city where you grew up and played, and then people expect you to just kind of click it into gear. He finally has. And I've always felt like, you know, maybe he tried a little bit too much to be that power guy, and now he's a combination of both.
Chokes up here. Yeah, it takes ball 1 and 2.
Because a lot of swing and miss early on. And for Dansby now, moved up in the lineup, he's been a huge reason why in this stretch that the Braves got hot in June. He's right at the forefront of it.
Hitting .429 over a 7-game hitting streak after 2 more hits last night. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not just the 7 games, though, the entire month of June. And you go back over the last month, and he's hitting close to .400 after a slow start.
Don't make a mistake up with a high fastball.
2-2. Good breaking pitch. Got it off of the barrel. Trey Turner, one free agent to be shortstop, retires another. White retires the first 2, and up comes Matt Olson.
Well, Matt's been streaky this year. Started off really on fire. Lately, he's made some adjustments in his lower half and loading with his hands. So that unique batting style that he has, when you're just off just a little bit, you're not connected. But when you're connected, you hit everything they throw you, fastball oriented with power.
Fouls off a first pitch fastball.
Great swing, and he's got a lot of doubles, obviously, and he'll run into a lot of home runs. And so the transition of filling in for Freddie Freeman, first couple weeks, He did it. He made him disappear, but he went into a little bit of a rut. You can see the average coming back up, but the power is always going to be there.
All-star for the first time last year in Oakland. And years of being a really good player, but last year took it to another level. And then the Braves, just after the lockout ended, acquired him in a trade, and 1 day later signed him to an 8-year extension. So that was before Freddie Freeman had wound up anywhere. So in a way, it was when Olson was acquired that Freddie Freeman saw the writing on the wall like the rest of us did at that point and said, okay, I guess I'm not going back to Atlanta.
Yeah, and typically in a normal offseason where there's not a lockout, you'd have a little bit more grace period for that thing to be worked out. And it just, like I always call it, a perfect storm, and certainly there are going to be some things that could have been done different. But it is what it is now, and the Los Angeles Dodgers are getting a great first baseman that is going to be super consistent within the confines of that contract. And the Atlanta Braves got a younger first baseman with a lot of potential to be dynamic as well.
On a 3-1 pitch, he fouls this one off himself, and the count goes full. In some pain. Matt's fulfilling a lifelong dream playing for these Braves. He grew up in Lilburn, Georgia, 20 miles from Truist Park, idolizing Chipper Jones. And then when he was in high school, it was Freddie Freeman that he looked up to. Wanting to be the next Freddie Freeman? Well, he is.
Yeah, you see that big 6'5" frame and that unique stance. You'd think you could blow fastballs up and in on him all day, but there's a way of turning those around as well.
Mitch White looking for a 1-2-3 first inning. His payoff pitch. Fastball misses. No swing and a 2-out walk.
Well, good pitch away, and Olson was able to stay off of it. He looked hitterish, and that's what you want. You want a guy to jump at those pitches. Usually don't make good results when you swing at a pitch off the plate, but a good take.
While Olson was having his breakout season across the country in Oakland, Austin Riley was having the same here in Atlanta in 2021. Yanks this one foul.
Well, the key with Riley, and you know, I've said it every time we do a Braves game, and the amount of work he put in with Chipper Jones a year and a half ago, and he's constantly trying to check that box to be able to stay off of pitches away, off the plate. He's really good now with 2 strikes, making the adjustment. He'll swing at a lot of low pitches, which brings in that breaking ball, but when he lays off of it and they come back to him, you saw that year that you're talking about last year was just dominant.
Hit above 300, 30 home runs, second in the league in RBIs with 107. Hits this ball in the air, deep center field. Bellinger's going back, tiptoeing to the track, sizing up the wall and making the catch. This part just barely enough, barely big enough to hold it, and it's scoreless after 1. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Ford, built for America, and by Progressive Insurance. Protect the stuff you love with renter's insurance. You've still got a free chance to win $10,000 of Big Papi's money tonight playing Fox Bet Super 6. Scan the QR code now. Download the Super 6 app and get your picks into the MLB Super 6 Challenge for a free chance at $10 grand. No score, second inning. Justin Turner leads off against Max Fried and takes a strike.
Well, Max Fried, well, the Dodgers, what they do best is take away the strength and make you throw strikes. Early on, fastball command for Max Fried wasn't great, but his strikeouts were on fastballs.
Off the end of the bat, rolled to first. Olson to Fried, 1 away.
And with the Dodgers, what makes them so good is that they command the strike zone. Yeah, they have some swing and miss in their lineup, but for the most part, if you're not on your game and you can't throw a secondary pitch for a strike, you're going to have a hard time beating the Dodgers.
Fried retires Turner. Up comes Trace Thompson, who was acquired in a trade on Tuesday, part of addressing Mookie Betts' absence. They're unsure how long that's going to be. Hopeful that it won't be that long, but Thompson back in a Dodger uniform, and he's had a good first couple games. He takes a strike from Fried, And for more on the Atlanta lefty, here's Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Joe, Cole Hamels threw only 3 1/3 innings for the Braves in the pandemic-shortened 2020 season. But Hamels is a guy who has been instrumental in Max Fried's career, and that means that Braves investment in him, almost $7 million, well, it wasn't entirely a waste. Fried says that Hamels helped him develop his changeup. The two lefties, remain close. They go to lunch whenever they're in the same city. And guys, you go back to Game 6 of last year's World Series, the clincher. That night, 11 of the 74 pitches Max Fried threw were changeups, and the success he had in that game helped give him the confidence to bring it into this season.
Here's his 1-2 to Thompson. It's a breaking pitch foul.
And that's the key. You have to do it under the gun. You could throw that changeup in the bullpen and spring training all the time. And if you don't bring it under the gun in the game, you'll never know how that pitch can be utilized and what weapons you can bring to the team's attention. Right? They discarded that pitch for the longest time, and now it's in the mind of every hitter.
1-2. High fly ball, but off the end of the bat. Duvall in left field will settle under it for out number 2. We were talking about how everything for him was glove side, right? That changeup gives him an option that fits the other way.
You have to have 2 lanes to be successful in the big leagues. And what I mean by that is even if your one lane is dominant, you can be mediocre in the other lane, and that helps. Because if a pitcher can only get to one side, you can eliminate a plate if you're the hitter, and that just gives the hitter a better advantage. Now he's learned to get to both sides. And he has the opposite effect against a righty with that changeup, and he has the ability to bury the slider, cutter, fastball in to a righty.
First-year Dodger Hanser Alberto goes after the first pitch like he does more than any hitter in baseball. And Riley across the diamond to finish off a 1-2-3 second. Thing can happen. Follow at MLB on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube so you don't miss a thing in 2022. Mitch White goes back to the mound. Travis d'Arnaud, the Atlanta catcher, takes ball 1. Well, d'Arnaud has turned into a key piece for these Braves. Now in his 3rd season with Atlanta. Actually spent a short amount of time with the Dodgers in a 2019 season where it looked like his career was hanging by a thread. The Mets released him after 7 injury-riddled years. Dodgers signed him but sold him to the Rays after 1 week and 1 at-bat in a Dodger uniform. But he said at that point, he's like, okay, I'm done overthinking. I'm going to simplify. He went on a tear for Tampa Bay in the second half of 19. And in the span of 1 year, John, he goes from wondering if he's finished to signing a $16 million deal with the Braves.
Well, he's been huge. You see the homers by the catchers right there. The combined, pretty good for the Atlanta Braves. That's something you never thought you might expect, but he was such a big part when he was gone. Braves had a hard time filling that spot, right? And so now they've got a really good combination between Contreras and d'Arnaud, and they're in a good spot when it comes to the up the middle defense that starts with the catcher.
On a 3-1 from White, he takes ball 4 and a leadoff walk. Second free pass issued by White. Braves still waiting for Marcell Ozuna to get going. Led the National League in home runs in the short 2020 season. Last year had the broken fingers, had the domestic violence suspension, and the numbers just have not been close to the same since 2020.
No, they haven't. He has a really pretty swing when his timing is on. The ball and the bat stays in the zone. It looks like it just cuts the zone in perfect place to meet the baseball. His average will go up, but the timing, you can just tell the timing's off, and when he gets hot, it's just only going to bode well for the Atlanta Braves and their offense.
Some dudes, though, as a pitcher standing out there, I would imagine he'd be one of them where it's like it doesn't matter what he's been doing, he's still got a presence.
Yeah, he looks hitterish, right?
Yeah.
And when you dissect the video and you're looking at a guy when he's cold, you know that, okay, I can go to different spots. I'm beating him on fastballs or whatever the scouting report's going to be at the time. But watch his bat in the zone when he makes connects with the baseball.
Just a little off on a fastball, and it's popped to Freddie Freeman. They put it away.
So that swing plane will be more underneath, and by being underneath and not flat when he's good, he's getting on the bottom side of the baseball, which is popping it up, and that's mechanical. You can see his swing. It's you don't see the bat, and then see the bat's late, and the ball hits the bottom side of that ball, which causes a pop-up. When he was 2 years ago as locked in as pandemic season, he wasn't missing those pitches, and it'll take some time, but he'll get that back, because once you proved it to yourself, you know you can do it.
Orlando Arcia. Big part of the Braves winning the championship last year was guys coming out of the middle of nowhere to fill in for injured players. And this season, Orlando Arcia is at the head of that list. In 10 games since taking over at second base for the injured Ozzie Albies, he's hitting .343. d'Arnaud at first, one away. On a 1-0 pitch, Arcia watches a strike.
Hey! Well, that was the MO for the Atlanta Braves last year. The probability of their winning the World Series, well documented, almost impossible based on where they were in September. But everyone they added, some portion of that stretch, they got hot. And it kind of carried a team for 3 games at a time, maybe a week.
Trying and a miss. Good pitch by White.
It's a tough formula to live by, but in a short spurt like they needed there, they were able to do it and catch the New York Mets. Had the Braves not gotten this June record, there's no chance they catch this version of the New York Mets. They're that good. And so climbing back in it and giving themselves a position to battle for a couple of the playoff spots is very important.
Big breaker swatted to right center field for Trace Thompson, and out number 2. Yeah, we talked about it off of the top, John, but the Braves entered the month of June at 23-27. They were 10.5 games behind the Mets at that point. And on a Sunday morning in Arizona, coming off a really ugly couple of losses, Brian Snitker did something that he doesn't do a whole lot. He held a team meeting, and he came in and basically said, look, guys, if this is how it's going to be, let me know, because I'll stop caring, because you guys don't look like you really care right now. It is just not how it should look. They won 14 in a row from that point forward.
Yeah, and remember, up until that point, they were the only team in baseball that hadn't won or lost 3 in a row.
That was your favorite stat for a while there.
It's the most amazing stat when you think about every other team had done that. And so what did they do? They blew by that stop sign at 3 and went to 14. And they haven't looked back really since.
18-22 in this month of June, the best record in baseball. It's strike 1 on Adam Duvall.
And they were winning games that you had to win, meaning some teams not having a good stretch during that, but they were winning the close games and winning some comeback games. And that's the momentum that teams need to have to build a great season. And you know what? I know Brian Snitker. I've known him forever, and I know he just doesn't change, and it didn't waver. Like, I'm sure when we asked him, he's like, I didn't feel like we won 14 in a row.
Braves looking for their first hit against Mitch White, who's ahead of Duvall. No balls, 1 strike. Popped out of his hand, 1-1.
The Braves, like a lot of teams, have some streaky hitters. This is one of the streakiest hitters in baseball. I mean, he can go on a stretch run with his power and connect for a period of a week or 2, and it can go the other way as well, where there can be a lot of strikeouts in this lineup.
RBI champ in the National League last year, 2nd in home runs last year. That's by the hands, ball 2. It's been much better lately. Talk about those hot streaks he goes on. He's had one here in June.
Yeah, and he's been, since last year, he's been a 2-out machine, like 2-out RBIs, 2-out hits. I mean, that's a special thing when you get in that kind of groove.
Like a different guy, completely different profile of hitter with 2 outs and with men on base. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Mitch White throwing that pitch more than he has at any point in his career. That slider, it's moving more than ever. 27 years old, out of San Jose.
Down below the knees, low, is the Achilles for Duvall.
Oof.
Can't leave it up, though.
Yeah. Lucky to get that one back.
Anything that starts over the plate breaking away from him, he will swing down. And you see kind of a spike curveball that he tries to throw right there, and lucky that one didn't go a long way.
Leadoff walk for d'Arnaud. He's still at first with 2 out. A 2-2. We've seen that a couple times. That pitch just pop out of his hand. Count goes 4.
Well, the spike curveball has got a lot of spin, and you can see the knuckle raised. And sometimes when it's not connected in front of you, that's what's going to do. But boy, when it's in the middle of the zone and it drops down, hitters don't pick it up that well. And I still think 3-2, you got to throw a slider or a breaking ball off the plate.
It's been his best pitch. It's been Duvall's biggest weakness. There goes the runner on a 3-2. It's a fastball that's fouled. Mitch White getting a couple more opportunities here. Guy that was optioned to AAA 11 times last year. This season, just one stint down there. And back up with Andrew Heaney injured. Dodgers planning on giving him at least a couple starts this time around. Working hard against Duvall. Here comes his 8th pitch. Slider gets him. First strikeout for Mitch White, who's delivered a couple scoreless innings in his return to the big leagues. It's the inaugural USFL Championship game live from the Pro Football Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton. Best of the best going head-to-head in a quest to take home the historic first title. Next Sunday, 7:30 Eastern on Fox. We know Philadelphia's there. Who will meet them in the first championship game? Max Fried comes home. Strike 1 on Cody Bellinger. Rookie of the year in 17, MVP in 19. Hasn't duplicated those performances since. Takes a ball and it's 1-1.
You talk about a unique batting style and the adjustments you need to make the course of your career. Close the windows that hitters, close the windows that pitchers are throwing the ball to. And right now, besides that one,
you got to squeeze a little bit
probably
there,
be a strike. You can see what he's done over the course of the last couple of years since that MVP. He's really been lost mechanically, and that you hope you find it quick, right? Because you start thinking about it, you get asked a lot of questions, but inside and up, he has not been able to stay off that pitch. And it's been the place pitchers try to go when they got 2 strikes for sure.
It's like Fried going away here with a 2-1. Bellinger shoots it to left for a leadoff base hit.
See, that's the one area that gives him a chance against left-handers, is that ball up in a way that he can actually get to with the unique style that he has. You jam him inside, he can't get the barrel of bat to it, and that right there is a favor to him. Even though that's a really good pitcher's pitch on the outside part of the plate, it's the difference between executing the weakness of the hitter, meaning where he's really struggling, and then giving him a chance.
First hit of the weekend for Bellinger, and up comes the catcher for the Dodgers today, Austin Barnes. Has a home run against Max Fried. Hey! 32 years old. He's in his 8th big league season. He's the 2nd longest tenured Dodger position player, behind just Justin Turner. Catches Clayton Kershaw most times and is in there a couple times a week, with Will Smith moving over to DH. Fried delivers. Yeah, the dirt ball 1.
He's run into a little 0 for his last 13 against left-handers. I'm sure he'd like to change that.
Barnes trying to help the Dodgers win a 5th consecutive game and an 8th out of their last 10. Got a 1-game lead in the division over San Diego. Game and a half back of the Mets for the best record in the league. The 1-1 to Barnes. Golfs it to left. Duvall is there for the first out. at first, one gone. Here's Trey Turner. Got his 11th hit in 4+ games on this road trip to lead off the game.
I've always said, and I stand by it, I mean, when he broke in the league, I said, this guy's got a chance to win an MVP because he can do so many things. He can steal bases, hit for homers, hit for power, and then obviously hit for average. He can stay healthy in those freak injuries that he occurred with Washington. He's got the total package.
Yeah, that 2019 championship season in Washington, John, he broke his finger early on and so missed most of the first 2 months. Came back even though he was still in a bunch of pain by swinging the bat with 9 fingers on it. He just held the broken finger up. That was 4 days into what would become the World Series season. Said it looked like a fishing hook when he broke it. The doctors told him it's going to be a few months. He said, I'll show you, and came back. That finger still broken. Spent the year swinging through pain, but it was all worth it in the end. Takes low, ball 2.
Well, and the element that I'm telling you, just we don't see enough of it anymore, and because the game is played differently, we don't see a lot of stolen bases and speed, but that's what he does when he can get on base. And when the Dodgers are healthy with Mookie Betts and of course the lineup, that it just creates a lot of problems for the opposing pitchers because they get on and the power guys have the luxury.
Hey! Led the league in stolen bases last year. You know, we measure with StatCast exit velocity and how far balls are hit. Measure spin rate. You can also measure speed, and Trey Turner is the fastest player in the majors. He's got Bellinger at first, 1 gone, no score, 3rd inning. The 2-1 and the reigning batting champ takes it low, ball 3. Freddie Freeman waits on deck.
I mean, Turner has crushed left-handers this year.
3-1. Sharply hit. Swanson's there. Shovels with his glove and a double play. And turnabout, fair play, because both shortstops have made nice plays on the other. First pitch swinging, Michael Harris, the second, rips the ball over Trace Thompson's head. And a double on the first pitch of the 3rd. First hit of the game for the Braves.
Well, this guy's been unbelievable. I was getting ready to say he hasn't drawn a walk in the last 36 or 7 plate appearances against. If you're going to hit like that, you don't have to walk. Fastball away, and his ability to hit the ball the other side of the ballpark has been extraordinary, and he has really elevated this offense since being called up. And that ball was hit so hard that I don't think people realize how hard of a play that is for a right fielder hit right at him.
112 miles per hour over Thompson. Atlanta with a runner in scoring position for the first time, and a ringing double from Harris. Back to the top, and Acuna.
Better be careful on the first pitch. This should be a breaking ball first pitch to Acuna after that double. Oh, man.
Wow.
Well, he did everything. He upset the apple cart there, thinking the whole world thought that would be a breaking ball, and he poured a fastball in. The slider's been his best pitch so far tonight. Braves haven't had a hit against it.
Acuna fly to center his first time. He's got Harris at second. That's a good slider, and it's 0-2. We talk about how good Michael Harris has been, and you can see it's a perfect snapshot of how he's helped transform this team. Came up in late May. Doesn't correspond exactly with a 14-game winning streak, but pretty darn close. What a table setter he's been for a guy like Ronald Acuna.
He really is at that dimension of speed, power, and a great athlete in the outfield. And let's face it, I mean, the Braves have dealt with their injuries like every club does. But last year, when you lose Acuna, that's a big blow. That's your star player. Well, they've lost Albies for quite some time, and they know how to plug in place, and their depth has gotten better by the moves they made.
Check swing and a slider, fouls it off. White issued a walk in each of the first 2 innings, but that is the first hit, the one from Harris. He's got good speed, takes his lead from second, and White deals 1-2. Another fastball challenged him again, and Acuna fouled it off his foot.
Yeah, because Acuna has faced so many breaking balls against right-handers, and of course he's done damage on fastballs, you can once in a while get him looking inside. Half the time of his strikeouts are that fastball inside, so they try to expose it and pick the spots to throw that fastball in there, but you better be accurate with it. Lightning quick hands.
On another 1-2, Acuna swings and misses. Got him to chase for his second K. One gone in this third inning. For more on the man that started this inning with a double, we go down to Kenny.
Well, Joe, the Braves scouted Michael Harris as both a pitcher and a hitter when he was in high school in nearby Stockbridge, Georgia. But Dana Brown, the team's amateur scouting director, wisely viewed him as a hitter, as we just saw. Brown was adamant that the Braves take him in the third round of the 2019 draft, even though Alex Anthopoulos, the Braves president of baseball operations, thought, maybe we could grab him later. Well, Anthopoulos relented, and he said, when Dana is passionate about something, I've learned the smart move is to listen. Guess what? Dana Brown was passionate again when Harris was hot in the minor leagues in May. He repeatedly sent Anthopoulos gifts of LeBron James, looking at his watch and saying, it's time. On May 28th, it finally was time. Anthopoulos relented again, and he sent the same gift back to Brown.
Dansby Swanson drives the ball in the air, center field, gone! Two-run shot. Braves strike first.
I said you can't make a mistake up right now to Swanson, and that's exactly where that pitch was. Middle, and up. Breaking ball spins out of his hand and just stays right there. He has really crushed the pitch up lately and with power. And when you're as connected and hot, that ball looks like a beach ball to a hitter. And that ball to the biggest part of the ballpark disappears over the wall.
Fourth home run in 4 games for Dansby Swanson. And the Braves take their first lead of this weekend series as Matt Olson takes ball 1 from White. We mentioned Dansby got off to a slow start this season and really hit the low point in the first series between these teams in Los Angeles in April. That's a pop-up. Foul ground first base side. Barnes and Freeman. It's Barnes. It's Freeman. Anyways, struggling mightily. They have an off day before starting the homestand here, and he goes in and works on his swing. And he said it wound up being pretty simple. He was late, so he worked on starting earlier, and he said he also reset mentally. I'm starting over. This is a new year. I'm 0 for 0. And from that point forward, he's been one of the top 5 hitters, no matter how you measure it, in the entire National League.
Yeah, you know, with hitting, everyone has a timing mechanism. Some it's the leg kick, some it's getting their foot down, and you mentioned it right there. And Swanson being late, you cannot afford to be late as a hitter. I mean, the good hitters in the game, they can time a, you know, they say a bullet, right? If you throw it enough, you can. If your timing's right, you can hit anything, especially with the velocity going up at like 100 miles an hour on some of these pitchers. So. But when your timing's off, even 88, 90 looks fast. And every hitter goes through it. The greatest of all the hitters in our game. It's impossible to stay locked in all year with the type of pitching that we see. And right now he's in that mode, and you ride it as long as you can.
Said he looked at side-by-side pictures of when he was at his very best late last season with where he was early this season, and he could not believe what he was seeing, how much later he was. Here's an 0-2 pitch. It's high and it's 1-2. So he made that adjustment and he's taken off, and he's always had stretches where he's been awesome, but finally consistent. I said before it'd be 3 outstanding months and 3 months where I may never be able to play baseball again. And much more consistent. Riley smokes one through the left side. Third hit of the inning for the Braves.
Well, I mentioned that slider that the Braves were struggling on. Not so much this inning. And the slider got a little flat for White in this inning. It has resulted in 2 runs and a hit. There's the pitch right there, rolling in the middle of the strike zone. And if you're Riley staying up the middle, you got a chance for this bullet to get through the semi shift that they had on the left side of the infield.
Inning continues for d'Arnaud. Got a chase on the slider.
You know, it's amazing that most pitchers, if they took more time to watch batting practice, you'd see how many guys get out in batting practice, right? Like, you know what's coming. It's right down the middle. And yes, you're working on things. Sometimes pitchers will give hitters too much credit, and the vice versa. The hitter will give the pitcher too much credit, and you go in those funks. And if you don't step in that box or on that mound and separate that, it's hard. And that's where you get lost. That's where the prolonged slumps last longer. And then you start searching mechanically and you go through an overhaul when it can be something simple like timing, or where my hands are, or where my leg is.
Flipped in the air towards Freddie Freeman, who will catch a couple in this 3rd inning. No chance to catch this one, though. Dansby Swanson stays red hot. 4th home run in his last 4 games, and it opens the scoring. It's 2-0 Braves after 3 on Baseball Night in America. Duvall mic'd up with an earpiece. Adam, I know that earpiece is giving you a hard time.
Yeah,
you got us, though?
Not one to stay in.
All right, we'll do our best to keep it in there. Hey, your shortstop's pretty hot right now, isn't he?
Oh man, he is on fire. It's really cool to see, watching him, watching him before the game do his pregame stuff, and I mean, it's just awesome to see because he's an unbelievable teammate, works hard and loves the game. So,
what's it been like for your clubhouse's perspective having Freddie Freeman back in town?
Oh, I mean that presentation yesterday was not something that you get to see too often. I mean, having him back in town and seeing the fans appreciate him, and it was awesome.
He's up there leading off this 4th inning against Max Fried. 2-0 pitch. Strike 1.
Give us a perspective of, it's been super hot here in Atlanta and it's cooled off a little bit. What's the big difference when it gets this kind of temperature in this ballpark?
Well, I mean, it's just trying, especially for the pitchers, just trying to keep their arms dry.
Headed your way. Lead off base hit for Freeman.
Just trying to stay dry. I mean, every part of your clothes are soaked, and once that happens, it gets even hotter. So sometimes maybe going in, doing a jersey swap, getting a dry piece of cloth on, and get back out there.
Tell us what you're taking a look at there without sharing any secrets. Here's Smith. Hey, we saw you taking a look at that card. Don't give us any secrets, but what are you taking a look at there? What are you learning?
Well, we're just trying to position ourselves the best way to, to get to as many balls as we can based on the hitter. I believe it's, they're just putting us in the best position where they hit the ball the most, so that we can try and, keep guys to a single where it would be a double, and try and keep extra bases from happening.
1-1 on Smith. That's ball 2. So you played center field. You moved over to left field with Michael Harris coming up. How big of an adjustment is that? I know you've played both throughout your career, but how different are the two?
I mean, center field, obviously, there's a lot more ground to cover. You know, you got to break both ways, whereas, you know, over here, the guy hits it to right, I don't have to do too much. So, you know, there's definitely more ground to cover. If you can see, he's going all the way over there now. So, but he's got young, fresh legs. So,
Yeah.
He's been doing an unbelievable job out there for us, and came up and been a big spark for us as well.
We just saw Michael Harris hit that ball directly at the right fielder. Is that the hardest play for an outfielder? A ball that's hit over 100 miles an hour straight at you?
Yeah, that's the hardest part, is because you don't get any depth perception, so you don't really know. You know, you don't know whether you got to go in or back, or if it's going to be right at you. So whereas from the side, you can kind of tell, you know, where it's going to land.
Freeman at first, one gone. The hitter is Chris Taylor, who grounds it foul. We were talking, Adam, about your season's turnaround. We mentioned the meeting that took place before that Sunday game at the end of May, and you take off and win 14 straight. What was said in there?
I mean, you know, it's mainly just getting everybody together, making sure that we're all on the same page, that we're all pulling on the same side of the rope, you know, and just kind of talk to each other, making sure that everybody's in a good headspace, and that making sure that, you know, we have a goal, and that's, you know, obviously to make the playoffs. Then once we get there, you know, see what we can do.
It's a pretty special manager you've got, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, I think I can speak for everybody on the team. We all love him. You know, just the job he does, you know, just managing the clubhouse. I mean, that's the biggest part, and you know, we all love playing for him.
0-2 on Taylor. 2-0 game here in the fourth. Visiting with Adam Duvall, out playing left field for the Braves right now. 0-2 from Fried in the
Nice
dirt.
block.
If you're Max Fried, you got the shift on. The obvious situation is you'd love for Taylor to roll over on a ground ball, and the best way to do that is possibly set up for a changeup. Fastball inconscious, and then you throw that changeup, and you overswing, hit the top of the ball.
Inside with a 1-2, left over the plate, chopped to short. Swanson to second, one. Arcia won't pull the trigger. They get the lead man. 2 out. Up comes Turner. Your guy on the mound tonight, Adam, might be headed to his first All-Star game.
I'm having a little trouble hearing you right now. They're playing the.
Let's wait for the organ.
Playing the piano right now.
We gotta get that. We gotta tell the organist that you got the earpiece in, and he needs to just stop for a little bit. Here's Turner with 2 out.
Nice pitch.
Hey, so my last one for you before we let you go here. I was just asking you about Max Fried. This guy's making a case to head to his first All-Star game. Seems deserving, huh? He'd lose it.
I'm having trouble.
Adam, don't worry. You've done plenty. Thank you. You focus on your job out there. Here's an 0-1 to Turner. In the dirt, runner takes off. Taylor takes second. And into scoring position.
Picked a perfect pitch. You either decide you're going to go on the first move, but he spikes the breaking ball. And there's nothing Darno could do about it. And now Turner trying to get 2 out Lightning with a runner in scoring position.
Turner's numbers down across the board, but lately looking better. He's made some changes to his swing, a little bit smaller leg kick, more on time. Back to that conversation about timing, especially against fastballs. And so Dave Roberts points out, once you get that, you're not cheating to get the breaking balls. On a 1-1 pitch, he takes a strike. 1-2.
You talk about turning your career around. I mean, he had turned it around and became a star player for the Dodgers and really mastered that leg kick. And the height of that leg kick varies from pitch to pitch. You have to be good with your lower half. You can't have any kind of knee issues or quad because he's hitting with his legs. And that, to him, is the timing that sets the upper half in motion.
On a 1-2 from Fried, Turner turns on one, down the line, hooking, foul.
And see, that's what he's so good at. He's so quick. He got the leg up in the air, but his hands just turn when he puts his foot down. And because that was inside enough, I think, is why that ball hooked foul.
Just by a little bit. He's homered twice against Fried in his career. Fried, prior to the 7 shutout innings against the Dodgers in April, had an ERA above 7 against LA lifetime. And Turner had a big hand in that. Runner at second, 2 gone, and another 1-2 from Fried. Justin Turner pulls one up the middle, but got it off the end of the bat. Swanson waits on it, guns it across to get him, then finish off the Dodgers in the 4th. Adam Duvall, appreciate him taking some time for us. He'll bat third when we come back. The umpiring crew is whole. Alex McKay, a call-up umpire, arrived at the game a little bit late. Didn't find out that he was getting called up until late. But he's here for the bottom of the 4th inning. Marcell Ozuna leads off and watches a slider catch the knees. Strike 1. Ozuna, Arcia, and Duvall against Mitch White. Gave up the 2-run home run to Dansby Swanson last inning. Fires 0-1. Left that one over the plate and got away with it. Bellinger comes on, 1 away. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Hyundai, the 2022 Tucson and Santa Fe plug-in hybrid EVs, and by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
I tell you what, Bellinger may be struggling at the plate, but he never struggles defensively. He's an elite defender that can play multiple positions, and that was not the easiest of plays on a big swing. But you can just tell he can go get it. We've seen some unbelievable plays in the playoffs, robbing home runs, making just catches you wouldn't see.
Arcia, ball 1. And that's kind of the thing with Bellinger. He doesn't have to be the hitter that he was in the MVP season to still be an incredibly valuable player because of what he does defensively. If he can just be an average hitter, he's incredibly valuable. Two and up. White out of San Jose, went to Santa Clara. 2nd-round draft pick, 2016. He's a big-time prospect at first, but then dealt with some injuries, slowed his climb to the majors. Debuted with 3 innings in the 2020 season, and now in his 3rd year, going back and forth between the majors and AAA.
If he throws enough strikes with his fastball, the complemented pitch obviously is the slider, and the curveball just changes the eye level of the hitter. He'll be fine. You have to throw enough strikes with your fastball to make that slider even that much better than it already is.
There is the slider up the middle. Turner bobbles initially, recovers and throws wide. Well, that's the element of Trey Turner's game that has not been as good this year. He has not graded out well defensively. And Arcia is aboard.
His ball was hit firmly, and his second hop kind of rode up the glove, and then once he couldn't find the handle, he had to grab it however he could and just kind of wing it all in one motion. And of course, at that point, it's too late.
That's ruled an error. Arcia is on and Duvall's up. Thanks again to Adam for wearing the earpiece and the microphone for us. It's a first pitch fastball and hits it foul. It's another guy who's made an adjustment recently. Several guys are talking about getting off to slow starts, making an adjustment. He's somebody who has always tried to lift the ball, but he thought this year it kind of went too far, and so he adjusted back and is focused on being a little more level with his swing. On an 0-1.
Oh no!
Lays off 1-1.
And if you think about the majority of pitchers in the game and you're trying to lift the ball with high velocity at the top of the zone, that's going to be tough to do. And I understand the process of it, and I understand why with the shift on as a right-handed hitter that you see the Dodgers employ. Well, you want to lift it over their heads and try to lift it over the outfielder's head to get rewarded. I just have a sneaky feeling that this is the last year we'll be looking at the shift.
I know we're both in favor of that being the case.
Oh, that's in.
That's inside, ball 2. Kenny, the numbers would bear out those changes that we're talking about Adam Duvall making.
That's right, Joe. He generally has a high launch angle, but early this month in Colorado, he made a conscious effort to bring it down. It was just too extreme. So he started monitoring his swing through a Rapsodo device while working in the cage. Now, Duvall is a type 1 diabetic, so he doesn't hit on the field very often, trying to preserve his energy. That improvement, the lowering of his launch angle, was dramatic, and it helped spark his resurgence in June.
And then the other thing, and we talked with him a little bit about this, but getting to move out of center field. Michael Harris there, and Duvall with everything that he has to deal with on top of being an everyday player as he manages type 1 diabetes. That doesn't hurt either, getting to go over play a little bit less demanding of a defense position.
And that's why the pitch is down and away he struggles with, because he can't reach those pitch trying to lift those pitch.
Swing and a miss. A lot of the play with that slider, but he comes up empty and has struck out both times against White.
This one had just a little bit of break, not as good a location because you could see center cut. And there's the grip on that slider.
Here's Michael Harris, so buckle up, right?
Yeah, I mean, as of late, you know, you're going to have your ebb and flows. He's swinging misses a lot lately, but he's still making hard contact, you know, and he's an aggressive hitter. So pitchers are going to, when you see stats like, okay, he hasn't walked in a while or he's swinging pitches out of the zone, you got to make a better first pitch than he made against them in the previous at bat that resulted in a hard hit double.
Arcia at first, 2 gone, and White will check on him.
Because think about it, as great of a year as he's having, when you miss 43 to 45% of the pitches against right-handed hitters, that doesn't leave you with a lot of other pitches. You got to do damage and be successful when you make contact, and he certainly has done that.
Youngest player in the majors, just turned 21. Lifts a fly ball to left center field. Taylor caught off by Bellinger, who's been taking everything since the collision with Mookie Betts a couple weeks ago. Brings that one in and brings this inning to a close. We're back to Atlanta as Baseball Night in America continues on Fox.
Need a 7th inning stretch? Just tell Siri, tell me more about Apple Fitness Plus.
The last 2 world champions meeting up here in Atlanta this weekend. They had to go through each other to get to those championships. Dodgers beating the Braves in the National League Championship in 2020. Braves returning the favor last year.
By the way, my Siri's not working because something's wrong with my microphone. So
there's something always wrong with your technology.
Either that or it's ignoring me for the last 4 or 5 days.
Could be operator error too, just based on history. Just saying. Trayce Thompson leading off this inning against Max Fried, who rocks and fires 0-2.
Well, what a journey Thompson has been on. Of course, his brother winning a championship and another ring. I'm sure he would love to stick around here with the Dodgers. Been on a few teams in the last 3 or 4 years.
There's a Dodger in 2016 and 17, and then DFA'd in spring training in 2018. 8 organizations since. DFA'd 5 times, granted free agency 3 times, then picked up again on Tuesday from Detroit. Swings and misses, and he's the first out of the 5th. It's time for our first game break of the night. We say hello to our friend Kevin Burkhardt. All right, Kevin. Well, Hanser Alberto lost the bat while he's getting ready to lift it to do his hitting.
Is that the only way he'd take first pitch?
Yeah, if he no longer has a bat in his hand. Yeah. Grounded out in the first pitch that he saw his first time up. Oh, weird. He took it. We were talking with Dave Roberts before the game today. As you see the Braves situation in the division, 5.5 back of the Mets. Best record in the league. He only waited for 1. It's grounded foul on its 0-2. You asked Dave how he's evolved as a manager.
Yeah.
And he pointed to Trace Thompson as an example of how, where the numbers say play him just against lefties. That's what you got him for. Be part of a platoon. Yesterday he started him against a righty, and he came up with a couple hits. He said that's probably not a move he makes 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I think that's the maturation of being in the game for a while, having some cachet with knowing that you can blend the information with your gut and see the player and know the player. And he said, hey, I've learned the players more too. And yeah, there's times to do this and do that by what it says, but there's also an opportunity to do something different.
Alberto swings himself out of his helmet. First he lost his bat, now he lost his helmet. 2 out.
Al expecting a fastball, and he got a great changeup. I mean, this is just a great pitch with the same arm action that all of the pitches that Max Fried. So he lost 2 pieces of equipment.
Yeah, not the most fun trip up there for Alberto. 2 gone. Bellinger bounces it foul. 4 strikeouts for Fried now. He's not walked anybody. And against the Dodgers this season, 11 2/3 shutout innings. To Bellinger in the dirt, doing it to his boyhood team. Grew up in Los Angeles. Designed his curveball after watching old footage of Sandy Koufax's curve. And soon after he designed it off of that, Clayton Kershaw made it to the major leagues. He had another example of how to throw a lefty curve. It'd be extra special if he was able to make his first All-Star game this year, given where it's at Dodger Stadium.
Exactly. And there's the maturation of throwing a changeup against a left-hander. You talk about bringing that changeup into the big leagues. That's primarily for right-handers, but he just threw him a changeup on the inner part of the plate and had him buckled, because you don't see that very often.
And just to be able to put it in the scouting report, now left-handers have to think about that too.
Yeah. I mean, this screams for a fastball in, but he hasn't thrown him a fastball in yet. He's see if what he does here with 2 strikes.
Glove set down and away, went there with a fastball. And it's 2-2. Bellinger, who singled his first time, one of the 3 Dodger hits. On a 2-2 pitch. Chases, and Fried strikes out the side. We're halfway home in Atlanta. Ronald Acuna will lead off the bottom of the 5th for the Braves as they try to even this series at a game apiece. Saturday, baseball night in America returns on Fox. An iconic showdown at Wrigley Field. The Red Sox and the Cubs, or a battle for the National League West top spot. Dodgers and Padres enter the day separated by just 1 game. Padres play the Phillies later tonight. Dodgers back in first, winning 4 straight, 7 of their last 9. They trail here 2-0 on a home run from Dansby Swanson. Ronald Acuna leads off the 5th and takes a ball from Mitch White.
Mitch White's done a nice job keeping Acuna off balance, getting him to swing outside the strike zone and take fastballs. That's the key. If you can get Acuna to take fastballs, that means he's looking for something else and you sneak one by.
That fastball he pounces on and rips to the left side for a leadoff hit. Acuna aboard. Swanson coming up. His 4th home run in his last 4 games back in the 3rd.
Locked in, not missing the pitches that you want to drive, and he's driving them for power and extra base hits.
He is the longest tenured Brave with Freddie Freeman's departure and in the final year of his contract.
Now here's the moment I was talking about, what the element that, again, Acuna being back and healthy creates and helps the hitter in the box, because you got to worry about him at first. He has been picked off a couple times, but that attention to detail translates into less effective pitches to the batter at the plate.
And you wondered what Ronald was going to look like coming back from the ACL surgery. Just an awful injury. Speed was not lacking at any moment once he returned. That's a strike on Swanson. So the one thing that kind of took him a while before he really trusted was doing what he did, suffering the injury initially, that is jumping, making a play in the outfield. But everything else, the dynamic bat, the big hard swings, the fast base running, that was there from the start. June 11th, Ronald scored from first on a bloop single. He runs. Pitches low. Throw from Barnes, not close. Stolen base, Ronald Acuna.
Well, it's amazing. You learn a lot when you're a young player and you have success and then go through an injury. His ability to come back and trust his hard work and do the same things he was doing before the injury gives you a lot of confidence and certainly helps the Atlanta Braves.
He said, Brian Snitker echoed, that he's probably even stronger, maybe even faster than he was. And he says, no doubt, he feels like he's mentally tougher than he ever was. On a 1-1 to Swanson. That's low. Ball 2. Alex Vesia has started to loosen in the Dodger bullpen. Further depleted last night. Daniel Hudson tearing his ACL and joining Blake Treinen on the IL. A 2-seam runs in there, and it's 2-2.
That was a great pitch. I mean, that's a pitch where you're going to get, the only thing you're going to get is a ground ball pulled to the left side, which doesn't move the runner over to third, which is what you're trying to avoid. Him getting to third with less than 2 outs. Perfect pitch. And now he's got him set up, if he wants, the pitch that Swanson and a lot of hitters who are good, swinging down on a breaking ball over the plate. Same height, but breaking ball swinging down, and a swing and a miss.
His 2-2 was left up. Ball 3.
And see, that resets the eyes of the hitter. If you stay on the same plane of the fastball, the hitter cannot recognize the difference. And as soon as he sees the ball pop out of the hand up, boy, his eyes will light up. But if that pitch was down, he doesn't really know when it comes out of his hand immediately if that's going to be a fastball or a slider, and did not make that quality pitch off the fastball.
3-2. Bounce to third. Diving stop by Turner to save a run. Infield hit for Dansby Swanson, but Justin Turner with a sprawling Superman stop.
Got up a little hobbled, but he saved his pitching, or his pitcher, at least 1 run in this potential inning, and that's an outstanding play.
That will spell the end of Mitch White's night. This is the 2nd time that he's worked through a lineup, the 3rd time, and he's yet to retire a hitter. When facing him for a third time this year. So the Braves with runners at first and second, and into the darkness comes Alex Vesia.
Rollins, Bliss, McIntyre, Sheamus, Asuka, cavalcade of superstars descend on SmackDown to stake their claim to the Money in the Bank contract. Who will rise to the top? It's an all-new edition of Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Braves have a 2-0 lead. Alex Vesia comes on to face Matt Olson and misses up and in, but it looks like that caught the bat, and so a strike as Vesia inherits runners at first and second.
Well, that was a bonus. Fastball, slider, changeup, but primarily fastball, slider against lefties, and majority of his fastballs, almost 60%, are going to be up.
Takes a look at Acuna. Started this inning with a base hit. Swanson has one as well. So first and second for the Braves. And Olson, who has walked and popped out on an 0-1, fouls it off. So the book not yet closed on Mitch White. Here are the numbers as they stand right now. Those 2 runs on Swanson's homer, and the men at first and second, his responsibility.
Yeah, hoping if you're the Dodgers, I mean, you get out of this with 1 run or none, but 1 would be spectacular with first and second, nobody out in the heart of the lineup. Up for the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, 2. Ball 1. Vesia, like pretty much everybody down in that Dodger bullpen, going to go up a notch in the pecking order with another injury. Already Blake Treinen, their top relief arm, has been out much of the season. The guy that moved into his place, Daniel Hudson, we mentioned, tore his ACL last night and is done for the year. The 1-2. Did he go? No swing, ball 2.
Yeah, he almost jumps at the hitter. He's got like a fall away delivery, which makes the high fastball that much harder to hit. If you're looking at his body and trying to pick up his arm,
got him with a fastball. That high spin 4-seam by Olson for the first out.
Top of the zone, fastball, 4-seam right behind the ball, and it gets that hop motion. Just hops. When it hops on a hitter, the hitter doesn't see it in time, and he thinks he's on it, but he's literally a tick behind. That was a good example right there.
He's always had the ability to get that rising look to it. But then he watched a YouTube video of Max Scherzer talking about his 4-seam grip a couple years ago and made a little adjustment on his own grip to try and match what Max was doing, and it added spin to it, added to that illusion, and has helped make him the big leaguer that he is. Comes home to Austin Riley, ball 1.
Pretty good slug against left-handers is Riley, and certainly power and average last year off. What a great year. I mean, you can make an argument for an MVP.
Yeah, you got votes, hitting 30 home runs, driving in more than 100.
But the key for him is staying on the ball, no matter if it's a left-hander or a right-hander, especially on a right-hander. Keep that front shoulder in and stay on the ball. Right there, it looked like he tried to lift and pull. The bigger the swing, the more advantage he is going to have on the mound, the way he throws his 4-seam fastball.
Acuna at second, Swanson at first. 1-1 to the plate. Riley lifts it foul, 1-2. Well, we're talking about the injuries to the Dodger bullpen, and it's not just been the bullpen. Starting rotation has dealt with it as well. Dustin May last year, Tommy John surgery. They knew that coming into the year. Clayton Kershaw's missed a lot of the season. Walker Buehler is on the IL, won't return until very late. He had elbow surgery. And Treinen and Hudson, key pieces in the bullpen that they're both dealing without. Here they are at 44-25 with the best record in the division, second best record in the NL. They've got Acuna. You said it, John. As fast as he is, he's been picked off a couple times. And will be again here. So how about the new umpire here, Alex McKay, coming in here having to make a decision. Half an hour after he arrives in the ballpark, they're going to say Swanson is out and Acuna is safe back at second.
See that play very often, not to mention you came in late like you said. Good turnaround move, which you're allowed to do with a man on second. And the Braves are just trying to make sure they have somebody at second base when this play is done.
Swanson caught stealing 1-4-5 on the putout.
That's a horrible ruling, by the way.
Yeah,
it's a horrible ruling.
Yeah.
How can Swanson be called out on stealing?
Yeah, officially caught stealing.
It's terrible.
Yeah, the guy didn't get a good jump. Didn't pick a good pitch to run on. 1-2. Riley fouls it off, and now here's Alex Vesia, John. A pitch away from getting out of this inning unscathed.
It would be fantastic. First and second, nobody out. Heart of the lineup. Get big strikeout, and then you got Riley here, one pitch away from another strikeout, and of course the reverse pivot.
Guy that was a key piece last year for the Dodgers as a rookie. Fires a 1-2. A breaking pitch, flipped foul. This was the issue for the Braves in last night's game. They were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and an offense that had been averaging better than 6 runs per game this month scored only once.
Yeah, go figure. They went 14 in a row, and the game they lose in Chicago is 1-0
to the Cubs,
averaging 6.5, 7 runs a game. So it happens, you know, on a nightly basis. You never can figure this game out.
Vesia trying to get out of a nearly impossible situation. He'll have to throw another 1-2 as Riley fouls back a heater.
Speaking of trying to explain things, the Yankees got no hit today.
Right.
Third one, not on the Yankees, but third no hitter this year. 2 of them combined. Miracle win the first night against the Astros, 4 in the 9th, and then the Astros come back to win the next 2 games, and this one today being a no hitter.
Out of the 30 teams, if you could pick the least likely to get no hit,
it would be them.
Yep. Another 1-2. Austin Riley fouls it again,
and especially there.
I know how they've been playing. I mean, you saw through 7 innings, Christian Javier, the starter, had the no-hitter going, and it was a 1-0 game at that point. You had to have the feeling the Yankees not only were going to get hit, but they're probably going to win the game.
In another walk-off fashion.
It's been unbelievable. 2 best records in baseball in New York. This is the 8th pitch. Line drive right center field. Base hit that'll get to the wall. Austin Riley comes through, drives home around to Acuna, and makes it 3-0 Atlanta.
This is a perfect example of getting caught up on throwing a lot of fastballs that Riley wasn't seeing but fouling off. And he gave him the one pitch that he could catch up to, the breaking ball in the middle of the plate. With 2 strikes, Riley does a good job staying right center. The only way you hit that ball is to stay right center with your thought. And if you end up pulling it, it's because the ball's inside. Could have gone back to that fastball. He kept throwing it up. Riley was not catching up to it, but he caught up to the breaking ball on a huge 2-out hit.
Second hit of the day for Riley. Braves up 3-0. That run charge to Mitch White. The book now closed on him. And here's d'Arnaud. It's been the best 2-out offense in baseball this year.
It's hard, man, because you feel like if you keep throwing fastballs, they're just going to keep fouling them off and eventually time one up. So you throw a spinner in the middle of it. But learning which guys never come off the fastball versus the guys that are not catching up to the fastball that's a big difference. And right there, Riley stayed on the breaking ball.
0-2 on d'Arnaud. Ball one. On a 1-2 pitch, d'Arnaud fouls it off.
That was a great pitch. That one tailed away from the plate there, and d'Arnaud in protect mode. If he snapped one off on the back foot right here after that, maybe that would get him to swing like it did with 2 strikes. But that was complete defensive, and that just shows you what his fastball is doing so far in this inning. It's not really, there hasn't been one squared up fouled off like to the pull side. It's been more defensive.
Riley at second with 2 gone, a 1-2. He goes with a changeup, dribbled in front of the plate, and Barnes will throw down to first to end the inning. They add 1, and they lead 3-0 as we go to the 6th. The Dodgers and the Braves, the last 2 champs, head-to-head on Baseball Night in America. MLB The Show 22 is available now on PlayStation consoles, Xbox consoles, and for the first time the Nintendo Switch system, rated E for everyone. Boston Riley knocks home Ronald Acuna with a double, gives the Braves a 3-0 lead as we go to the 6th. Dodgers trying to crack the code of Max Fried. 5 more shutout innings against him. That's now 12 shutout innings against the Dodgers this year. 13 strikeouts and no walks in that time. 0-2.
Well, Max Fried can rush it up there to 98, but tonight he's been very efficient with his secondary pitches.
Boy, he gets moving quickly. Paints the outside corner in his 4th consecutive K. 1 gone in the 6th. We check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Man, oh man, he went way out there. Trey Turner cracks his bat on a base hit down the line. The speedster thinking 2 out of the box. He'll get there easily. 2nd hit of the game for Trey Turner, and his 12th in 5 games on this trip.
Well, that bat won't probably be used again, but it went down. Not a double for everybody, but a double for a guy with that kind of speed.
So he's in scoring position for Freddie Freeman. 1 for 2. Top 2 guys in the order for the Dodgers have 3 of their 4 hits. Rest of the team 1 for 14. It's been the top of the lineup that has triggered things this week. Now 29 hits in 5 games for Turner, Freeman, and Smith. At the top of Dave Roberts' order.
Man,
0-2.
That ball had tremendous movement. Again, inside, tying up Freddie Freeman. These are the moments that when the season's over, you know, when your teammates, you talk about, oh, I would do this to you, and if I faced you, knowing that would never be the case, right, with Freddie Freeman, especially after winning the World Series. But you play with a guy your whole career, and you know and watch how good he is, and then you're facing him, and you're like, oh no, got to get this guy out.
0-2 to him is fouled. Fried came up in 2017. The end of that year, he's in his 6th year now. And his numbers following a Braves loss this season. Definition of a stopper. Trey Turner at second. 1 gone, 6th inning. Another 0-2 from Fried to Freeman.
When you're in a groove like this, like Max Fried is, you're thinking about pitching deep into this game like he did against the Giants.
0-2. Got him with a fastball. Continued to pound the inside part against Freeman, and he strikes him out for the 2nd time.
See, that's the difference. That's why Max Fried is on such a run, because, you know, we talked about where he loves to put the fastball, but he got it on the other side of the plate, which is comparatively a weaker side for him than the glove side away from a lefty. But you just, as a hitter, you got to shake your head and go, man, he owned both sides of the plate there in that at bat, and there's nothing I can do about it.
7 strikeouts for Fried, including each of the last 5 outs. Will Smith 0 for 2. Watches a spinner to the inside corner. Strike 1.
Will Smith, I was going to say, having a nice run on the road. Batting average over 423 coming in the last, what, 2 weeks on the road?
Yeah. Flies this one down the line. Olsen over. Makes the catch. Dodgers unable to take advantage of the Trey Turner double. 6 more shutout innings for Max Fried. Braves got 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th, on to the bottom of the 6th in a 3-0 game. And David Price, the veteran lefty, comes on.
David Price again, the bullpen for the Dodgers. He's one of those veterans now. Been there, done that. Many different roles. Fastball, cutter, changeup.
3 right-handed hitters for the Braves due up here. Ozuna leads off, takes ball 1. 0 for 2 and 0 for 6 this weekend.
Well, that's off.
2-0.
Well, when David Price was on top of his game, that fastball command was crucial. He'll throw the occasional curveballs and that cutter off his fastball.
Five-time All-Star, Cy Young Award winner in 2012. 36-year-old comes home with a 2-0 and gets a swing and a miss with a well-located fastball. Price now in his 13th year in the majors, 2nd one with the Dodgers. pitch in a variety of roles for him. Grew up a Braves fan. Too far from here, Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Attention media, today's attendance is 42,000.
Gets it by Ozuna, 2-2.
61. That's a sellout. 4-2. 161. 18th sellout of the season.
Ozuna starting the 6th. He's worked the count full.
Sometimes it just takes one feel-good sound off the bat that reconnects you whenever you're going through a funk and you're just a little bit behind the ball and your timing's off.
3-2.
You forget in this game when you hit a line drive out and you're chasing performance. You forget you hit a line drive and you squared it up. That's what you want. But
I'm just out.
But the reality is you didn't get on base. Like you'll take a little bleeder, a little bloop, just whatever it takes to kind of get you going.
Another 3-2. Another foul ball.
That's why I never get too enamored with exit velocity unless the exit velocity is consistent, right? Then you can show what a hitter possibly should be doing based on running into bad luck, hitting it at hitters. But if it's random and you got a lot of swing and misses in the middle, then that doesn't tell the story as much as if you're making more constant contact.
Leadoff walk for Ozuna. Well, these Dodgers trying to overcome these injuries to keep on rolling. 8 division titles over the last 9 years, 3 pennants over the last 5 years, 2020 World Series. And it's been especially the last 5 or 6 years, but when you go back to 2008, they're putting together a 15-year or so stretch here. I don't want to say it's on par with what you guys did here in Atlanta, but it's worth at least putting side by side and looking at this run of dominance for the Dodgers.
Well, if it wasn't for a miracle year last year, meaning in any other year, the Dodgers would have won the pennant going away. But San Francisco had just a dream year, and that stopped a stretch of who knows what it could have been. Right? We had 14 in a row. That was 10 in a row, but they won over 100 and some games and didn't qualify to win the division, but certainly had to get through a tough San Francisco team right away. Like there's something wrong with that picture.
Yeah.
And so baseball did a little bit of a change about, you know, in the sense of the playoff systems this year. I don't think that can happen again. It might happen after a team has the best record and waits to play the same team in your division after they win a series, but that kind of helps not face a 108, 109 or whatever it was.
Arcia down on strikes. Yeah, they won 106 games. It's the most wins ever for a second place team. And they wound up beating the Giants in the division series, but they talked afterwards about how they felt like they invested so much in the chase to try to win the division, and then in that 5-game series that they didn't have anything left when they came to play the Braves.
No, that's accurate. And, you know, you can make the argument whether they had to do that to win that series, but it didn't matter. They won that series, and the problem is coming in here, then they were depleted in the starting rotation because they used those resources in some unique ways.
Strike on Duvall.
Think about it. These two teams represent the last 2 World Series championships. Braves are up 3-1 against the Dodgers in the year the Dodgers won the World Series.
Yeah.
And you just see how quickly something can turn. You go on that run, and you know the Dodgers were the best team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts 2 years ago, but they were on the brink of elimination in a shortened series of the pandemic, and to their credit, they went on to win the next 3 games and beat the Rays, and no one's talking about the drought anymore.
First one since '88 for the Braves. First one since '95. Duvall chops one to short. Turner circles around it. They get the out at second. Safe at first. With everything they're dealing with this year, trying to get back on top of the division, all these injuries now, Kenny, and they got about a month and a half to figure out how to handle it in the trade deadline.
That's right, Joe. And it looks like right now they're obviously going to need rotation help with Walker Buehler down, and probably bullpen help as well now that they've lost Daniel Hudson. This has been a year of injuries. Weird off-season with a lockout. Teams couldn't contact their players. Shortened spring training. Slightly compressed schedule. And the Dodgers have been hit hard. 13 players currently on the injured list, 10 pitchers. Now, Dave Roberts said today that Tommy Kahnle, Danny Duffy, and Victor Gonzalez could be back in August. But still, they're going to need additional depth, and they are one of the deepest teams to begin with. 2 names to watch in the pitching market: Luis Castillo of the Reds, Frankie Montas of the Oakland Athletics, but those 2 will be in high demand.
Yeah, there just isn't a ton out there in terms of high-end starting pitching options. I said a month and a half, really just a little more than a month before the deadline. Michael Harris with a runner at first and 2 out. Bounces it over Price. This would be a tough play for Alberto, who throws late. Second hit of the game for the rookie Harris is an infield hit to extend the 6th.
Do or die play that the runner shades the infielder Alberto from trying to get a clean look here. The runner goes right by him and he tries to pick and throw at the same time, but the speed not going to get him.
And so now Price has to face Acuna with runners at first and second.
He's been quiet on the first pitch. I would think that this would be an opportunity to come out of his shoes here.
Two on, 2 out, and a 3-0 game in the 6th. Acuna swings and misses. There he is at the first pitch, but comes up empty.
Sneaky fastball that just absolutely explodes on Acuna, and you can see he almost looked tied up, not expecting the ball right there on the first pitch.
Oh, 96 popped by Price. Hitters like this will make you dig a little deep, huh?
Yeah, there's always a batter in a lineup that you can tell if you weren't watching, just listening. Oh, that must be him at the plate, because 96 doesn't come very often in this inning off of Price.
95 here, didn't put it exactly where he wanted it, but a strike it was nonetheless. 1-2. That was his hardest pitch of the year by a full mile per hour. Not talking like decimals. Full MPH. That 96 to Acuna. Does it again to finish him off. David Price digging deep and blowing it by Acuna to keep it 3-0. 96-mile-per-hour fastballs to get Acuna and keep it a 3-0 game. Bigger problem for the Dodgers is this man here, Max Fried, who has put up 6 shutout innings. He's gotten the strikeout ball going the last couple. Numbers including tonight. After he lost his first 2 starts, he's not suffered a loss since. And he's doing this consistently, pitching deep into games. Here he goes into the 7th, as he did earlier on this homestand against San Francisco. Taylor, Turner, and Thompson coming up. Strike 1.
Complementing the 4-seam fastball with that 2-seam fastball. And when you have the movement on your fastball and then you change speeds with the velocity difference on your changeup, unhittable. Like that. I mean, that typically will get more swings than not. Taylor has made some pretty good adjustments on that pitch. Doesn't expand the zone as much, but It's a deadly combination.
On a 1-1 pitch, he's in the dirt, ball 2. You were talking with Brian Snitker before the game. Has Max Fried officially made that step to the next level? And part of that you're talking about is when he takes the ball, you know he's going to be around at this stage of the game.
That's what I've been most impressed about his ability to, like, even the last game, he went into the 8th inning and had first and second, I believe, nobody out against the Giants. It was a 1-0 game, and now they ended up winning that game, and he came out with a no decision. But that's what you start smelling when you're in a groove like this, and you don't even turn around and look at your pitch count. You know that there's been no stress for the most part, and you keep going until somebody comes out and takes the ball from your hands.
Third time in his 5 starts this month. He's pitched into the 7th. His 3-2 to Taylor is swatted foul.
'87's a good number.
Season high is 104. 21 pitches in the first inning. He's been at about 12 pitches per inning since. Another payoff to Taylor, leading off this 7th.
And we saw the averages coming in, the 4-pitch, kind of 5-pitch breakdown. They've been pretty consistent to what we showed you in the beginning of the game, and that's what makes him so tough. Is good luck. Go up there and guess. What are you going to get? You may not get the same pitch twice in a row.
Yeah, Chris Taylor's getting a little bit of everything here. 8th pitch from Max Fried. Fastball is high, leadoff walk. First walk drawn by the Dodgers against Fried. Well, the 2022 Chevrolet MLB All-Star Ballot is now open. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit MLB.com/vote to send your favorite players to LA this summer. Now, both these teams well represented in the early voting. Betts and Turner would be headed there as starters. Ronald Acuna as well. Braves 3, Dodgers nothing. Justin Turner. Ball 1. Turner just missed a home run his last time up. Pulled it foul outside the pole by 10-15 feet and ultimately grounded out. Ball 2 and a visit from d'Arnaud.
And a good one, because he's missed now wide on his changeup 5 times in this inning, or to that side of the plate, and just to kind of settle, make a pitch here, see if we. What the catcher's going to tell you is he's going to reinforce a positive and tell you a command that, okay, you make a pitch here, we get a ground ball, chances are we get a double play. And that's all you're doing as a catcher, to save the pitching coach an opportunity to go out. If this was a younger pitcher, a pitching coach would have went out. But because you're a veteran and you got a veteran catcher, the timing's perfect.
Will Smith beginning to warm for the Braves. Well, for the Dodgers, they're the only team in the National League scoring 5 runs a game, but it's been the top of the order and the bottom of the order that have gotten that done. Worst middle third of the order in the majors this year. On a 2-0 pitch, Turner pulls one to left. That's towards the corner and down. Duvall over to cut it off. Turner holds on with a long single. First and third, nobody out. In the middle part of the lineup, trying to get things ignited here.
Well, that's a huge play by Duvall, and you may not think it is right now, but that kept the double play in order by him cutting that ball off and going to second base. Pitch there that Turner, beautiful swing. That's the swing Turner most known for, really, when you think about his arc. But that play right there kept Turner, who made a wide turn at first, kept him at first base.
So Trace Thompson, in his first week with the team, finds himself representing the tying run. Backdoor strike 1. Thompson 0 for 2 tonight. After a few impressive games, acquired from the Tigers on Tuesday. Second go around with the Dodgers 5 years after the first one ended. On an 0-1 from Fried. Thompson takes it right down the middle. Not going to get a better one than that. The 0-2. Got him with a high fastball.
Well, coming into this inning, he's got his career high in swings and misses in a game. 16 before that. And 11 of those coming into this inning were the hard variety, the fastball.
One of the best in baseball in these situations. He strikes out Trace Thompson, and it looks like that may end his game with Hanser Alberto due up next.
Snitker has a look of having a conversation to see how much gas he's got in the tank. It was a long game last time. He's going to leave him in. That was just a conversation, and that's trusting your guy. You wouldn't do that with every pitcher. But because he went deep in the last game, 8 innings, and a similar situation to this, although be it 1-0, different than 3, he just wanted to know how he felt.
Rare is the pitcher you can trust, and rare is the visit from a manager where you see that trust. It's pretty much every time the manager comes out these days. That's it. Not here. He trusts Fried against Alberto, who's 0 for 2.
And a free swinger on the first pitch, as we've already denoted.
Tying run at the plate in the 7th. He swings and misses.
And see, that's a big difference. You know, if you know a guy is, if you've been off a little bit and you want to get back in groove, you go face a guy that you don't have to throw a strike to. That's the best way to get back in the groove. And the Dodgers don't have many of those in their lineup, but he happens to be one that likes what he sees.
Same pitch, this one taken, and it's 1-1. Alberto in his first year with the team. Former Ranger, former Oriole, former Royal. He's made his name as a lefty killer throughout his career. Taylor at third, Turner at first. Hanser Alberto swings and misses, and it's 1-2.
The reason Fried does what he does in the glove, this is a great slow breaking ball. There was last year, I believe, he had tipping some of the pitches, so he does that same thing with his glove, so you don't know what pitch and what grip he's going to take.
1-2. He struck him out. 9 Ks for Fried.
Well, he didn't have to throw him a strike. He didn't throw him a strike, and he threw quality breaking balls out of the zone, and giving the manager the trust that he has in him, that he can wiggle out of this jam, and that would be a huge one if he does.
So he takes advantage of the free swinger, and it sets up lefty-lefty with Bellinger. High with the first one. Bellinger has one of the Dodgers' 5 hits tonight. Single back in the 3rd. Walk and a single to open the inning. Back-to-back Ks for Fried, who comes home with a 1-0 pitch. Fouled off, 1-1.
That swing right there on the breaking ball would tend to make me want to throw a hard fastball to get him off that slow pitch. That's a good swing, and yes, he fouled it off. Let's see if they go to a fastball, reading the swing after that.
Here it is, a 1-1.
They went back to the breaking ball.
Bellinger took it, ball 2. Been a trying couple seasons for Cody Bellinger, who still had some big hits along the way, notably in the postseason. The home run to win Game 7 in 2020 against these Braves. Could tie it with one swing here. On a 2-1 from Max Fried. Got a fastball and fouled it off. It's 2-2.
And see how late he was on the fastball. So sitting breaking ball or sitting off speed. With the adrenaline of the crowd and with the fastball that he's had all night, I wouldn't throw. If he hits a fastball right here, you tip your hat. But I would think elevated fastball crowding him on the 2-2 pitch.
Two on, two out, 2-2 pitch. Full count. Breaking ball lifted in the air, down the line. If it's fair, it's tied. It is just foul. Missed by that much, and all he can do is smile.
I'm telling you, he's had 2 good swings on breaking balls. And I know if you're Max Fried, you're like, he's aggressive and he's going to try to chase a fastball and miss the breaking ball. But the bat speed right now of Bellinger is more conducive for that pitch. And you're right, he just missed this being a game-tying home run.
Inches. And so we buckle up for another 3-2. Shakes a couple times, has one that he likes. Here it is. Fastball rolled through the middle, base hit center field. Cody Bellinger comes through with 2 gone in the 7th. And the Dodgers are on the board. It's 3-1.
You can live with that, but the fastball down again gave him a chance. Anything up middle of the plate, up was a tougher pitch for Bellinger to get to, but this ball's down and that swing gets to it. You can live with this. Great hit by Bellinger.
And the night ends for Fried. Back on Baseball Night in America, and this has turned into a good one. A rematch of the last 2 National League Championship Series and a matchup of the last 2 world champions. Max Fried was 1 pitch away from finishing off 7 shutout innings. Gives up an RBI hit to Cody Bellinger. Will Smith replaces him and misses with his first pitch to Austin Barnes.
Will Smith, a lot of games already. And a lot of sliders.
32-year-old in his 10th big league season, 3rd one with the Braves, deals a 1-0, and a fastball pops the mitt 1-1. Barnes out of the 9 spot is 0 for 2 today. Turner at 3rd, Bellinger at 1st. Smith throws. Barnes shoots a base hit the other way, and it's 3-2. Bottom of the Dodger lineup cracking the code. They're within 1 in the 7th.
Brings up one of their hottest hitters in Turner. Barnes just goes the other way. And 2 really clutch hits. Fastball up, goes the other way. Wide open part of the field.
From a guy in Barnes who only has one hit over the last few weeks, you don't expect that from him, but he comes through. Now Trey Turner grounds the first pitch that he sees, a breaking ball, and strike one. 2 more hits today for Turner. 12 hits in 5 games on this trip. Tying run now in scoring position in the form of Bellinger, who can fly. The 0-1. Tries to lay off and does. 1-1.
I mean, if I'm Trey Turner, I'm like, when we get home, can I use the road jersey?
Something, huh? And an absolute tear. And he's been one of the best hitters with runners in scoring position in the league since joining the Dodgers last year. On a 1-1 from Smith, Turner swings and misses. Good pitch by Smith, strike 2.
And Smith and Matzik and that bullpen for the Braves got hot at the right time last year. Used a lot.
Down the line, foul. Continues to pepper him down and in with the soft stuff. Bellinger at second, Barnes at first. Another 1-2. Ball 2. Two on, 2 out, and a 2-2 pitch. Trey Turner chops it foul, stays alive. Dodgers doing what the Braves have done so well this year. That is hit with 2 out. Evan Phillips has started to warm as the Dodgers get to within a run. Reyes Maranta takes a seat.
And the problem with this matchup is he got the ball coming into him. And what does Trey Turner like? The ball coming into him. He likes the inner part of the plate. You wonder if he's going to be able to throw a pitch on the outside part of the plate, either backdoor breaking ball or a fastball.
Count goes full. Runners will get a head start. And the other thing, while he's hit balls on the inside part all year, as the season's really gotten off the ground, it's been against non-fastballs, which is what he's seeing majority here. He's hitting almost .350 against non-fastballs over the last 2 months.
And don't think this crowd wants to see Freddie Freeman come up with the bases loaded.
Tying run at second. Go ahead run at first. There they go. Here it comes. It's ball 4 and the bases are loaded for Freddie Freeman. How good is this? In his first trip back to Atlanta, Freddie Freeman swings and misses at a good first pitch breaker.
That was a good first pitch, and I'll tell you what Freddie Freeman can do better than anybody. And we talked about extending the at-bats and getting a lot of pitches off of left-handers, but the thing that would be concerning is the shortstop side is up the middle. He can hit that hole on a pitch away.
Lays off this time, and it's 1-1. Yeah, leads the majors in opposite field hits. He's got another one of those tonight. 2 in the bank with 2 gone. Freeman now trying to give him the lead. 1-1 pitch. Low strike, and it's 1-2. Dodgers get 2 to get to within 1. But they get Freddie Freeman, and it stays 3-2. Barnes driving in runs with 2 gone for the Dodgers in the 7th. 3-2 game to the last of the 7th inning. And Evan Phillips out of the middle of nowhere last year to become an important piece down the stretch, but nowhere close to this level.
Fastball, cutter, slider. You see the numbers. Great walk to strikeout ratio. And the Dodgers are going to need. They're going to need some unsung heroes till some of their pitchers are able to come back. It's tough to lose the kind of quality arms they lost.
Dansby Swanson, 2 more hits tonight, including a 2-run home run. Olson and Riley to follow. And Dave Roberts saying with Hudson lost for the year with a torn ACL, becomes a few guys that are going to handle that high leverage role. That first was Trinan, then was Hudson. This is one of them. You're going to see a lot of Phillips. You'll see Brusdar Graterol. You'll see Yency Almonte getting the biggest hitters and the biggest spots.
Creates a little bit different arm angle. Kind of slings it low 3/4. So that should be tougher on right-handers.
His 0-2. A little bit low.
He's basically, for every 10 pitches against right-handers, 7 of them are going to be the slider.
A 1-2 to Swanson is a slider that's lifted way up there. Alberto waits on it to come down and makes the catch. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Allstate, reminding you that baseball season is mayhem. And by Budweiser Zero, full flavor, 0% alcohol, 100% on your game. Truist Park, opened in 2017. Beautiful park that's been packed full this weekend.
Now against lefties, he's going to switch it up and throw a higher percentage of cutters. Try to air that ball in on the knuckles.
There you go. 1 pitch to get Olson. 2 gone in the 7th. Then another game break. Here's Kevin. Jock Peterson trying to do something that's never been done. That is win 3 straight World Series with 3 different teams.
That would be that would be incredible timing.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't it right about I lose the timing of the year when everyone talked about the Dodgers in San Diego and the excitement of that rivalry, and then the Dodgers, you know, and San Francisco kind of ran off. San Diego got some injuries. San Diego is a different ball club this year.
They got the pitching.
I don't think that's going to happen this year. And they don't. If they stay healthy in their pitching, I think it's going to be an incredible race throughout the year.
And Riley here fouls it off. Sorry, John. We get to watch those teams meet up next weekend on Baseball Night in America. They haven't played since April. Dodgers visited San Diego as AJ Minter appears ready to take over for the 8th. So the Dodgers went to San Diego, played 3 games there. They've not played since then. You're going to have a bunch of head-to-head between those 2 teams the rest of the way. 0-2 from Phillips. That is an impressive 1-2-3 inning on 8 pitches. Beyond, sponsored by Jersey Mike's. And with all the injuries the Dodgers have dealt with, how about these 2, Tony Gonsolin and Tyler Anderson, who started the season in a piggyback scenario with each other, where they're combined 17-0, and Tony Gonsolin is one of the leading candidates to start the All-Star game.
That's pretty amazing when you think you could have 2 guys undefeated An already pitching-rich organization, although be it some injuries.
3-2 game. Will Smith corks this one to deep left field. This game is tied. He ambushes the first one from Minter. Locked at 3.
Well, this was a rocket, and Smith, known for the power behind the plate. You mentioned it. He's picked the first one up that he saw, and that got out quick. I'm guessing 113.6. That's just a guess.
11th for Will Smith. And the Dodgers, from down 3-0, have tied the game here in the 8th. Strike one on Taylor.
First pitch, tried to go in, down the middle, 109 off the bat.
You were close.
Yeah, shocked the crowd.
And A.J. Minter, who had a stretch this season where he went 22 games in a row without allowing a run, has given up a run in 3 of 4 now. He's ahead of Taylor, 0-2.
I always felt that Minter was like looking at Kimbrel in the mirror, right? I mean, he got kind of the same mannerisms, kind of the way that the angle to which they throw, obviously left-handed versus right-handed. You see what his numbers were like as the former closers on each team are on opposite teams.
It's backwards, isn't it? It's weird. The 0-2. Got him looking. 97 to the outside corner, one away.
And Taylor has every right to be a little upset. That pitch was off the plate, and all the hitter wants is a chance, right? When he sees a pitch come out of his hands and knows that it's outside, he can't touch that. With 2 strikes, you feel like the bat was taken out of your hand, even though it was at 2 strikes. He's going to go back and look at that and feel justified. Now, if you're the pitcher on the mound,
oh yeah,
you act like that's the perfect pitch.
Yeah. Here's Turner. 1 for 3. He went right back to that spot. Didn't get the same call. Of course he did, right? Yeah. Maybe a hair farther out. You see how far you can push it.
Speaking of the hair, has he been tight all year? Has Turner been tight all year?
Yeah, it's been a couple years since he's had the flowing locks.
But I mean, this is tight.
1-1.
The beard included, right?
Yeah, there've been some stretches where that beard has had a mind of its own.
I always judged it by how many Bridgestone golf balls you could hide in it.
Minter comes home with a 1-1 pitch. That's outside, ball 2. Dodgers trying to win their 5th in a row and trying to make it 4-5 against the Braves this year as Brusdar Graterol begins to loosen. Braves, the top team in baseball this month, 18-4 since the calendar flipped to June. On a 2-1 pitch, Justin Turner looks at ball 3. Tie game, 8th inning. 3-1. Turner to left, base hit. Second of the game for Justin Turner. Go ahead, run aboard. Well, this has been a good one. Braves took a 3-0 lead. They got 2 runs in the 3rd inning. They got 1 run in the 5th. Key swing for them, Dansby Swanson's home run against Mitch White. For the Dodgers with a pair of 2-out runs last inning. And first pitch here in the 8th, Will Smith tying it with a home run. Runner at first, one gone. Trace Thompson 0 for 3 tonight. Doesn't show up explicitly on that box score, but how about David Price with the game 3-0. Braves had 2 runners on. They had Ronald Acuna up, and Price was able to strike him out, sticking with fastballs.
Yeah, he elevated his fastball. Braves had a couple chances in this game to break it open. Credit the Dodgers and their pitching staff keeping it exactly where they needed to, and now it's tied up.
You think back to Acuna getting picked off 1 inning before that. Officially went down as something else, but it was Acuna getting caught wandering off second. There goes the runner. Turner got a great jump, and he's stolen second. Go ahead run into scoring position with the unlikeliest of guys. First stolen base of the year on his first attempt.
Well, you know, this was talked about. It's not just totally random when you realize that most teams don't like taking chances against relievers, but a lot of relievers take a long time to go to home plate because they don't have to worry about the running game. Late in the game, running games basically disappear, and I still think it's the highest leverage of helping you win a game when you can do something like Turner just did.
Can Thompson take advantage now? .37-year-old Justin Turner steals his way into scoring position. And now Thompson in his first week back with the team. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Minter is still, the velocity's up, but he is not crisp with the location. And that cutter has been a little bit flat, so you can tell that he just got a little shocked. First pitch, Will Smith, he'll do it to your system.
Here he comes with the 2-2. Thompson down on a high fastball. 2 out.
Thompson now 3 strikeouts in a row and not making that contact when he needed to. And if you're having trouble throwing strikes, Alberto can hurt you. There's no doubt. But he will tell you you don't have to throw a strike at times.
Did that for Max Fried in the 7th inning. 0 for 3 tonight with a couple Ks. Minter making his National League high 33rd appearance of the season. Not quite as sharp as we've seen him throughout the year. Turner at second, the go-ahead run. He took the first pitch, and it's 1-0.
It's a pitch that Minter has been bringing in over the last couple of years. That changeup. When you're a right-handed hitter and everything's coming at you hard fastball, hard cutter, all coming in the same direction. That little pitch right there will get you off of the fastball at times.
2-0. Bellinger on deck.
To me, he's the player of the game so far. He was in a mismatch situation against Max Fried and worked the count to 3-2. Almost tied it up with a home run in Bellinger, and then got that big hit. He kept the inning going.
Ultimately, they have tied it on a Will Smith homer. Now looking for the lead. Turner at second, 2 gone. 2-0 to Alberto. Chop foul. 2-1. Hanser Alberto, 29 years old. In his first season with the Dodgers, he's been a key component of the chemistry. Not playing very often. They're trying to continue this late game surge here, getting a rare start, just his 4th this month, and his first one in a couple weeks. On a 2-1 from A.J. Minter. Alberto fouls it back, and the count evens up.
I don't think people at home realize how hard that is. to be ready and not have the playing time and the timing, and then to be in situations where you're expected to kind of deliver, but the timing of you just don't get the same at bats. You're not in there every day.
From 2-0 to 2-2. Here it is. After a look at second. Good arms across the outfield for the Braves. Turner, despite the steal, does not run particularly well. A 2-2 pitch. He got him with a fastball. Minter strings the go-ahead running scoring position, but Will Smith didn't give him any chance to settle into the inning. On the first pitch of the 8th, a game-tying home run. Bring your friends to the one spot with all of your favorite free MLB games. Play the hits with Beat the Streak, Quick Pick, and more. Visit MLB.com/play and download MLB Play today. And don't worry if you didn't win Big Papi's money this week, because Fox Bet Super 6 will give you another free chance to win next week. Simply scan the QR code on the screen, download the Super 6 app, and enter your picks in next week's MLB Super 6 Challenge for a free chance at $10,000 of Big Papi's money. Travis d'Arnaud jumps on the first one from Gratterall. Deep left center field, off the base of the wall. He's got a leadoff double. Doing just what the Dodger catcher did in the top of this inning, attacking the first pitch from a new pitcher.
Pretty impressive here. Gratterall's got one of the most easy 99 to 100 mile an hour fastballs. You see the two-seam action, middle. And this one, too much topspin, or it would have broke the tie with a homer, but a double will do for d'Arnaud.
Just like that, Braves have the go-ahead run in scoring position against Gratterall, who's put up zeros in 7 consecutive games. Most recently last night. Ozuna watches a strike. If you're Marcell Ozuna and the Braves, here would be a nice spot to come out of this slump. On an 0-1, he hits one in the air, deep center field. Bellinger watches it go. 2-run shot. Braves back in front. Marcell Ozuna, 14th home run of the season, and it's 5-3 Atlanta. Ball one on Arcia.
You know, I said it only takes one swing to feel good, to maybe get out of a slump. Well, look at that bat and see what Ozuna does here in the next few days. If that doesn't ignite that timing, perfect timing on that pitch.
Gratterall knocks this one down and flips it to first. We get another look at Ozuna's long ball.
First pitch fastball he didn't like off the plate, but here's a breaking ball that spins right in that same height, and he puts the perfect swing on. Hadn't caught up to a fastball all night. He knew it right away. Bellinger knew it second, and the pitcher only could hope that it didn't go out. The fourth person of the equation to do it, d'Arnaud.
Braves, the top home run hitting team in the National League this year. They've averaged 2 per game this month, and they've got 2 tonight. Duvall, strike one. They're looking ahead to the 9th inning for the Dodgers. Bellinger, Barnes, and Turner. And if you want another layer of made-for-TV drama, it's going to be Kenley Jansen that will try and save it. 0-2 on Duvall, and we go down to Kenny.
Well, Joe, through June 12th, Marcell Ozuna was batting only .223 with a .654 OPS. Then, before a series in Washington, the Braves showed him video that showed he was turning in his front shoulder too far. Ozuna made the adjustment. It helped him regain his bat speed, the whip in his swing. He's been a much better hitter since.
Duvall down on strikes. That's his 3rd K of the night. And 2 away in the 8th.
And it's little things like that that translate into big things. Meaning if a pitcher has an issue where they're doing something mechanically wrong, and let's say they're a fraction of an inch off at the mound, it turns into almost a foot at the plate. Like you could miss your location by 6 inches. And for a hitter, just that deviation gets you off the ball and you don't see it as well. And obviously your timing's different. So the little things of baseball, it's why this game is so hard. You never stay locked in long enough. And it seems like your slumps are bigger than when you're locked in.
It's a ball on the 9-hitter Harris. Hey, real quick here, Acuna taking his shoe off and unwrapping some tape there. He's kind of been limping around and just handed his card off to Guillermo Heredia. Leads you to believe that Heredia is coming in defensively for the 9th. Grounded to second. Alberto throws to first and ends the inning. Marcell Ozuna finds it with a tie-breaking 2-run home run. 5-3 Atlanta. Kenley Jansen coming on to try and close out the Dodgers. This dramatic matchup between the last 2 champs continues into the 9th inning, and it's the former Dodger closer Kenley Jansen who's having a great first year in Atlanta.
Well, during the stretch of June, he, along with all those wins, went 7 for 7 in his save opportunities. And you think that he isn't motivated to get number 8 out of 8? Former club, of course, spending most of his career with the Dodgers.
And Heredia, as we figured might happen, is in the game and right. Acuna's out. Jansen to face Cody Bellinger to start it. Barnes and Turner to follow. Kenley Jansen, who is 10th on the all-time saves list. Gets strike 1 by Bellinger.
Not bad for a former catcher.
Pretty amazing the career he's put together. Dodgers moved him to pitcher when he was in the minors. Soon after that, he was in the big leagues saving games. You know, one of the great closers of the generation, one of the great closers of all time. Drops one outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Bellinger. 2 for 3 tonight. Had the key swing to ignite that 3-run comeback. Dodgers trailed 3-0 when he had a 2-out RBI single against Max Fried in the 7th. They got 1 more there, tied it in the 8th. But the Braves taking the lead back on Ozuna's homer. On 1-1, Bellinger fouls it off. 1-2.
Well, what makes Jansen so tough, being so big, and the way that he delivers the ball is that front arm and that glove goes right to the hitter, and then he goes straight over the top with that cutter that gives the illusion that it's faster than it is. And when it's late, and it's not Mariano Rivera like, but it's close when he's on, and then he has that breaking ball he can throw in there for a change of speed.
The 1-2. Got some help on that one. 1 gone in the 9th.
And again, Bellinger had no chance at this pitch. This was not a strike, but gets this 2-strike called for a strikeout, and there's nothing he can do with that pitch.
Pinch hitter sent up for Austin Barnes, Max Muncy, who has looked better the last couple weeks since returning from the injured list. Still coming back from that elbow injury suffered on the final day of the regular season last year. Facing Jansen, who drops a slider in there for a strike. Muncy, who was an all-star for the second time last year, 36 home runs. On an 0-1 from his old teammate. Rounds it foul, 0-2. Top of the order, Trey Turner waiting on deck. And then it'd be Freeman. Oh, 2 pitch. Well, tonight's telecast is sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Capital One. What's in your wallet? One away in the 9th inning.
Hard to believe that Max Muncy could be hitting 168.
Lowest average in the National League. On a 1-2 from Kenley Jansen, Muncy takes low for ball 2. Had his first 3-hit game of the season on Thursday in Cincinnati. That included a home run. He shows signs of coming to life. Dodgers trying to get Freddie Freeman to the plate here in the 9th. 2-2 pitch. Check swing. No swing. Full count. Lowest average, but the highest walk rate in baseball.
It's hard to do.
Yeah. Trying to get on any way he can against Jansen. The payoff pitch. 2 gone in the 9th on back-to-back Ks.
Well, besides not going good, as obvious as Max Muncy, but the reason you're swinging at that pitch is it looks good coming out of his hand right there, right? I think at home you're going, how in the world can a hitter swing at a pitch that high? But it really is the illusion of that pitch when it leaves his hand. And of course, Dave Roberts wishing the other happened.
Well, from Fried to the bullpen, finishing off with Kenley Jansen. 15 strikeouts for Braves pitchers. That's a season high for the Dodgers. Trey Turner on 3 times tonight. Strike 1.
In fairness to the Dodgers lineup, it's not your prototypical lineup, right? Some of the guys in there filling in against a tough lefty.
The 0-1. Ball 1. Series will wrap tomorrow night. Tony Gonsolin for the Dodgers trying to get to 9-0. Spencer Strider counters for the Braves. Gonsolin trying to get to 10-0. Beg your pardon. Ball and a strike on Trey Turner. Freddie Freeman on deck. Jansen deals. Right there for strike 2.
If you're Jansen, you know the scenario. You don't want to face Freddie Freeman, right? This is the only hitter that matters here with 2 outs.
One-two pitch. Jansen strikes out the side of the 9th. And the Braves win a thriller in a postseason rematch and perhaps a postseason preview.
Well, Jansen, that famous cutter, that ball turns the corner more than you think, and he knows it. Braves would like to won a cleaner game, but what a game. Both teams, as you mentioned, more than likely going to be in the playoffs, and the Braves, the hottest team in baseball in June.
Now 19-4 in the month of June after the 23-27 start. They have righted the ship much earlier than they did last year. 5-3 the final score. Minter with a win in relief. Brusdar Graterol suffers the loss in the 8th inning. An area of the game that'll be much scrutinized for the Dodgers with the injuries they're dealing with down there. Coming up next, we'll get you back to the studio. Kevin Burkhardt and the D-Train, Dontrelle Willis have you for post-game coverage right after these messages. What a ball game this was tonight in Atlanta.